6 to 7 p.m. Join us. To know the happenings in the maritime sector, join us on the program Maritime Frontiers on VOP TV as we discuss key areas in the maritime sector from aquaculture, maritime transportation, maritime labor regulation, oil and gas exploration, ferry and passenger insurance, marine pollution and prevention, port operations, and lots more. Maritime Frontiers, exploring Nigeria's blue economy.
This is African News on Voice of the People Television, where we don't just bring you the news, we bring you Africa's heartbeats, the policies that shapes our world, and the economy that determines our future. African News on Voice of the People Television. Stay with us.
In a world where power shifts with every headlines, news breaks and events happens, we bring you unbiased and explicit information on politics, economy, and state of the nation. We break down the chaos. Facts, not fluff. Truth, not spin. We discuss not just politics, but a glimpse into the future. Join Moses, Chukuma, and Fina on Voice of the People TM. Voice of the People Television. Now you have more than a voice.
VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
A new month, a month of favor, a month of blessing, a month of celebration, a month of laughter, a month of love. What else can we say than to say thank you to our Heavenly Father for making us to see yet the very tail end of the year, the last month in the year 2025. And sincerely, we're actually in high spirits. We're so grateful to God that we're still alive to witness this wonderful month. And I believe you are also excited to witness this wonderful month. And this is from me to you, telling you Happy New Month and welcome on board. So this is the first edition of People's Voice in December. And you know what this means. It's actually a season of laughter, happiness for us. And I'm sincerely excited because I've been, prepping you all as regards to December, that this is my favorite month. So it means that all through this month, I'll just be celebrating. And you should be in that particular mood as well. And let someone not actually think that perhaps I have actually received a certain kind of alert, maybe from the government or whatsoever, and that's why I'm celebrating. No, this is just a natural thing. For every year, for every December, this is how I am. All right, so welcome on board. It is People's Voice on VOP TV, where season stories shape the narrative. And of course, today we're dissecting a major story that is dominating the headline and sparking conversation across the nation. Tinubu'S Ambassadorial nominations, a global practice or recipe for disaster. This is quite a very wonderful question there. All right, and of course, it's also a food for thought. So let us dissect this conversation together. Join the conversation with experts in science and citizen perspective. And of course, share your thoughts with us. I am Savior Udo. Let's look into other news stories with details. And of course, this will actually give us more insight as regards to what we are dealing with in this nation. Article slams Tinubu'S administration over 17.5 trillion pipeline security spending. The former vice president has actually criticized the president, criticized the president's administration, talking about 17.5 trillion on the pipeline security and of course related costs in 1 year, calling it a financial scandal and of course a moral indictment. Article demands a probe into the expenditure, saying it primarily benefits the president's associates and political allies. It needs, of course, an immediate forensic audit of the said amount, and of course, it talked about the 17 trillion expenditure to be given a proper clarity and, of course, accountability as regards to how this particular funds was disbursed. What are we to do about this particular one? It's really now painful that all we've been doing, is to either come here, read news, or you over there, opening your papers or coming online, and the next thing you're seeing, or watching a national TV like this, and the next thing you're seeing is just about a certain trillion to billions to trillions to billions. And the question is, who should we hold accountable? Because we are used to these blames of passing here. No, it's this ministry, it's this commission. And even sometimes when these particular entities are sued, or these persons are sued, or a ministry are sued, yet we don't get anything afterwards. The CBN conversation is still there, that Serap actually, asked that they gave CBN a 7-day ultimatum. That's still there. Serap just sued Akpabio, the Senate President, today, and of course the Speaker of House of Representatives, Abbas, today, as regards to the funds for the renovation of National Assembly. And my question is, what are we doing with all of this money? So they just approve money, we don't see implementations, no proof of concept, no track records, a proper track record that, this project was carried out. How did we even get to this particular point? And when would all of this stop? This is quite a very serious food for thought there. And I'm not saying this because this is about Atiku bringing it up. Even if it wasn't the form of, vice president, anybody could also talk about this. Whatsoever we may say, maybe this is politically motivated or what have you as an opposition party, that's not the angle I'm looking at this from. But I'm talking about a place of accountability here. So it should be a thing that we should, if you say you're a public office holder, you should be able to be accountable to your people. This is what we're discussing here. And of course, away from that particular one, federal government proposes a 40% salary increase for lecturers, indeed to avert strike. And of course, this offer of a 40% salary increase has, been proposed to the lecturers under the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, in a bid to avert a nationwide strike. The proposal was made during a meeting between ASU leaders and the government negotiators led by Yayale Ahmed. Talks will continue next week, which branch leaders expected to brief their members on the proposal. The union's 1-month ultimatum to the government expired on Saturday, heightened tension, within the academic community. Key issues include reviewing the 2009 ASU FG agreement, payment of outstanding salaries and earned allowances, and of course, disbursing the university's revitalization fund. I think this has been overemphasized, and it's high time the federal government takes seriously this ASU situation. One minute they are saying, we've actually concluded the 2009 agreement with you, and the other time they would say that it's actually in view. Another time they'll say, the MOU was not properly signed and we'll do something about it. I just want a government that is working, a government that really cares about the people, a government that is ready to work. Do you understand? Because this was the same administration, this particular political party, the ruling party, the APC, and the president being their flag bearer as a president, and presidential candidate, it said ASU will be a thing of the past. ASU strike will be a thing of the past. That was what he said during the campaign. But here we are. ASU has actually gone on strike. Doctors have done that. So how long? In a 4-year course, students will be finishing in 5-6 years. Why? I think it's high time this whole situation is settled once and for all. And away from that particular one, state assemblies moved to debate state police amid rising insecurity. Several state House of Assembly have begun considering the creation of a state police in response to escalating violence and insecurity across Nigeria. This development follows President Bola Tinubu's call for constitutional amendment to enable states to establish their own police forces. Different states' House of Assembly has agreed to support this move. Some lawmakers like Senator Ali Ndume caution against rushing into state policing without adequate preparation, citing concerns about potential abuse and, of course, the need for more police officers. The National Assembly will need to amend the Constitution to allow states to establish their own police forces. The proposed amendment aims to create a more responsive security system by devolving policing powers to states while retaining federal oversight. Of course, in as much as I'm in support of what Senator Ndume, mentioned, okay, because you cannot just jump into it without proper and adequate preparation being done. But of course, we still need it, and we need it as soon as possible. The insecurity is quite disturbing. It has gotten to a point now where we are not even happy to read the news anymore, because it is either you see 1 kidnapped, 2 kidnapped, 6 kidnapped, 10 kidnapped, adopted here and there. Over the weekend, we heard about the church, the Keruban Seraphim in Kogi State. Like, it is a thing of concern now. So, if this particular state policing would actually come to play, we need it now than ever. And thank you, Mr. President, for also, towing this particular eye to agreeing and wanting the legislatures to, of course, amend the Constitution. And let's come to the ADC's coffers now. Amechi rules out presidential ambition. He eyes presidency. Former Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi has declared that he will not settle for a vice presidential slot in the 2027 election. Amechi's media aide, David Eyofo, stated that Amechi is solely focused on becoming the president of Nigeria and will not be part of any alliance aimed at making him a running mate. Amechi is currently pursuing the presidential ticket of the African Democratic Congress. This is quite laughable because I wouldn't want to say ADC is the only political party remaining that is not going through any, situation presently. And, the PDP are facing theirs, the Labour Party, of course. But of course, the ADC is still standing. Just maybe, I do not know. I'm not making any assertion here or even projections. But what if this would be another, saga for the ADC? Because some blocks, of course, you understand what I mean by some blocks of Atiku-led, loyalists are actually looking forward to having either Peter Obi or Amechi as the running mate of Atiku. That's what some are speculating, okay? But of course, if the speculations weren't right, Amechi wouldn't have raised, spoken through his spokesperson that he's not ready to be anybody's running mate. So he wants to go head to head, at the primaries. But of course, I would not heard what Peter Obi, would say. So hopefully, we'll get to hear that particular one as soonest. All right, let's move to the presidency. The presidency has actually rejected Obasanjo's call for foreign help in insurgency fights. Okay, the presidency actually mentioned that they do not want that particular situation, and they've actually rejected that one, describing it as a capitulation. Of course, and the special advisor to the president on media and communication, Sunday Dare, defended the president Bola Ahmed Tinubu's strategy against terrorism, saying that they are yielding results. The presidency emphasized that seeking foreign help would be a sign of surrender. Okay, so I might not really or totally agree with this particular or that last statement. Seeking for help is not showing a sign of weakness, no. And wanting to partner with the foreign or people in other climes, in the government in other climes, that that have sophisticated technologies to help you, clean out the bushes, clean out this insurgency, this insecurity once and for all, I don't think it's a sign of weakness, and I don't think it's a sign of surrender. It's just another perception. You have to come out from that particular, that particular, position you are in, and to look at it from other angles. Okay, so I see no reason why, partnering with another government they call on Nigerian government to help in other African countries. They don't see it as a sign of surrender when it gets to their insecurity. We also prefer solutions. So why should we see one as that? No, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. And I'm even surprised that it is Mr. Dari that is talking this time around and not Bayo Nonuga. Maybe they've actually told him to actually tone it down a bit. But away from that particular, I'm still talking about the presidency. Okay, the presidency has actually urged Nigerians to report VIPs with police escorts. The presidency has called on Nigerians, of course, stating that it is their right to actually, report any VIP that still has police as escorts after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's directive to withdraw them. The special advisor on media and, of course, public communications, Daniel Bwala, urged Nigerians to document any violation with photos or videos. The directive aimed to rationalize police resources and focus on public safety. Other security agencies will provide protection for critical government officers and, of course, officials. The reason why I'm actually laughing about this particular one is now you are asking Nigerians to do your job. Yes, your job. Nigerians should do your job while you are sitting in your office, right? If the president, who is the commander-in-chief of armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, has actually given a decree, given a directive to withdraw all police officers attached to VIPs. So it is not the job of the citizen to take phones, to start videoing and taking photos, to send to who? The IG was meant to run with that particular directive. The AIG, the commissioners, the ASPs were meant to adhere to all of that. Every DPOs of every division, they were meant to withdraw whoever police officers they've given, police officers to guide them. So why should it be our job? No, that's not Nigerians' job. So you do your job and let the police, the senior rank officers in our police force do their job. This is not Nigerians' job. Yes, that's it. And away from that particular one, Atiku throws weight behind ADC. Declares party as best option for Nigerians. Of course, what else will the former vice president say after declaring, his membership? And of course, he took up the membership, last week. And what else were you expecting? Of course, he said the ADC is the most credible and capable platform for Nigerians ahead of 2027 election. Atiku made this declaration during the commissioning of the party's new state secretariat in Jalingo, Taraba State. Atiku described the ADC as a party that embodies accountability, stability, and clear roadmap for national recovery. He emphasized that the party has built a leadership structure that can effectively address the country's economic hardship, insecurity, and social challenges. Atiku urged Nigerians to register and obtain their voter card, stressing that no desire for change will matter in 2027 if citizens fail to exercise their right to vote. He expressed confidence that the ADC can secure victories at both state and federal levels in Nigeria. If Nigerians, of course, if Nigerians unite behind the party. So this is actually an open call from Atiku to the Nigerian citizens that you have to get your voters card, and not only that, you have to vote for the ADC. Let's see how all of this will turn out. The fact that all of these politicians are not even thinking of 2026 anymore, they are all talking about 2027, is just a concern for me, and it is really a very serious concern for me. I see no reason why we stay after 2026, where we still need to look for how we need to be strategic as regards to perhaps reforms, implementation, curbing some unnecessary excesses, and yet so many politicians are only gearing themselves up for 2027 election as if so much is not happening. The other day, it was our senators from the red chambers that were so excited that the mother of the nation has called them for dinner. And they were excited, the Senate president was excited to announce that when Nigerians are going through insecurity, in different states. So it's just a thing of concern. I don't know how, we got here and where we actually missed it, but God would help this nation. So join the conversation, kindly call the number 09044732605, 09044732605. Follow us on social media at VOPTV Live. You can use the hashtag Whose Voice on VOPTV. And of course on YouTube, we're Voice of the People. Kindly hit the subscribe button. And together, we can make our voices heard. It's time for us to go on a quick break. As soon as we return, we'll be taking this conversation. Tinubu'S ambassadorial nominations, a global practice or recipe for disaster? That's a very serious question there. You don't go nowhere, stay please, I'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the program, Rest of People's Voice on Voice of the People TV. Yes, the presidency, of course, have actually defended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's recent ambassadorial nominations, insisting that selections reflect the president's judgment of what is best for his administration. And of course, the country, the senior special assistant to the president on foreign affairs and protocol, Ademola Oshodi, stated that political appointments to diplomatic positions are a global practice, citing examples of world leaders nominating trusted allies or individuals with long-standing relationships. Some of the notable nominees include former Independent National Electoral Commission Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu, former presidential aide Renu Omokri, former Minister of Aviation Femi Fani-Kayode, and former Enugu State Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi. However, the nomination have been met with criticism, with some questioning the quality and the suitability of the nominees. Oshodi emphasized that the president has the prerogative to make these decisions. And of course, he talked about the president performing what is right for his administration. The performance of the ambassadors would ultimately determine whether the president's choices were justified. He added that assessment of whether the nominees are the best or subjective, and that the president's judgment should be respected. While some Nigerians have welcomed the nominations, others have expressed concerns about the potential for political chronism and, of course, the impact on Nigerians' diplomatic corps. The African Democratic Congress has faulted the nomination of Mahmoud Yakubu, citing concerns about conflicts of interest and potential erosion of public trust in the electoral system. As the Senate considers the nomination, it remains to be seen whether the nominees will be confirmed, of course, and how will they perform in their roles. One thing is certain, however, the nominations have sparked a lively debate about the role of politics in Nigerian diplomatic service. All right, so we're now being joined by Mr. Liberty Wilson, a lawyer, author, and a public affairs analyst from Abuja. Good afternoon, Mr. Liberty.
Yes, Mr. Savio, good afternoon to you. How are you today?
I'm not fine yet until I get Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. I can hear you quite clear.
Yeah, I said I'm not fine yet until I get what you brought in from Gombe State over the weekend.
Sure, I've kept them for you. I've
Okay.
kept them.
So now I am fine. Happy New Month to you.
now I am fine. Happy New Month to you.
All right,
Thank you. Happy New Month to you.
Yeah, so all right, we're now being joined also by Comrade Eragbe Anslem, member of Labour Party, Interim National Working Committee. Comrade, good afternoon to you.
Thank you, Comrade Xavier Eragbe Anslem, the National Youth Leader of Labour Party. My pleasure to be here.
All right, thank you for joining the program. And of course, we also have Mr. Nwonye Chijioke, a distinguished business magnate, astute political and social analyst, a seasoned professional with a wealth of experience in public relations, public speaking, and corporate consulting. Good afternoon, Mr. Chijioke.
Good afternoon, Dio. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you. How is Canada today?
Well, Canada is better. It's always better than Nigeria, you know.
You don't have to say that, and you don't have to go there. That was being petty. That was being petty. That was below the belt, and we're not going to take it from you. What do you mean?
You know?
If Canada has snow, we have our own Amatan here. What's that? What are you feeling like? Don't do that to us, please.
You have bandits and kidnappers, corrupt politicians.
Don't do that to us.
Thank you very much.
Let us manage our government, okay? All right.
Manage. That's what we have been doing, and that's why we are where we are today. We don't need to manage them.
The Lord will see us through, you know. The Lord will see us through. All right, let me go to Comrade Eragbe Anslem. Let me start off with you. Hello, Comrade, are you there? Comrade Eragbe, are you there? Hello, Comrade. Comrade Anslem, are you there? Okay, so
I'm here.
Okay. So, Comrade, I'd like to start off with you.
Okay.
Do you think these nominees have the necessary skills and experience to effectively represent Nigeria in diplomatic roles? And of course, what can you say about this nomination? Having Reno Mokri, having Fani Kayode, and of course, Yakub Mahmood. What do you have to say about it?
First and foremost, Eragbe Anslem, the National Youth Leader of Labour Party. Diplomatic relations and representation requires to a very large extent people who have built capacity in that direction. That's one aspect. The other aspect again could be political, just like what we have now. Then the kind of the caliber of men that you send to represent your nation will ideally also speak for or against you in that nation. Okay, we have just had a situation where people of different characters, what we have expected would have been to send people with modest character and history. But we have had people who have flip-flop both in their behaviors, in their character, even in the offices they have occupied. For instance, there are a lot of misgivings in Nigeria. When you talk about Professor Mahmoud Yakub of INEC, while he presided over INEC, particularly with respect to the 2023 general election, there are so many misgivings. So what it looks like now is a reward for failure. Ideally, it's not good enough. But again, this will serve as a lesson to humans, particularly Nigerians, who believe they can do anything and get away with anything or everything. We are beginning to see where people are being rewarded. Reno Mokri, this is a man who had insulted severally, a man who had called President Tinubu a drug baron. At what point did Reno suddenly realize that Mr. President is no more a drug baron, that he had called him severally? Fani Kayode, of course, we have seen him severally. It's neither here nor there. You see, at the time in life, men need to know where they belong and what they do. It's not all about politics, but however, the interests of this nation, the integrity of people and nation also should come into play. One would have expected that President Tinubu, with his track record, more so at this moment in the country, where we desire leadership, where we desire to move forward progressively, that the caliber of men and women he would appoint to be such that they will justify his desire to reposition this country. However, he has made the appointments. They are all within his purview. They are all within his rights to make as president. But the fallback of the appointment he has made, people like us cannot but help but to criticize. To say some of these appointments are not square pegs in square holes. So they are mismatched. So we hope, we don't know what he will do about that, but the president also needs to really look at the caliber of men and women he's sending to represent him and this nation going forward. So let me leave it at this for now to say, well, he has made this, it's long overdue ideally. We had expected also that, Mr. President, this is about 30 or 31 months, about 65% of the tenure is gone, and he's just appointing ambassadors. So I don't know really what they are going to do this time, but they have been appointed. Let's hope they'll be sworn in, all the same. But we have a right to critique them, which is what we are saying. So most of them are not fit in the capacity in which they have been appointed. Some of them are not even fit to be appointed into public offices anymore by reason of their track record. Some of them I've mentioned. So, but we hope and pray that Nigeria will get it right and going forward. God bless you.
All right. Thank you so much, comrade. All right. Let me go to Chijioke before I get back with Mr. Liberty. Hello, Chijioke, are you there?
Yeah, I'm always here.
Yeah. So, what do you think about this nomination? What do you think about this particular list? You know, this ambassadorial nominees. Who are you having issues on that list with? Who do you think was not meant to be on that particular list?
I just want non-career ambassadors first. But before I start anything, I want to tell Nigerians, my fellow Nigerians, that we are in big trouble. We are in trouble. Like, there is fire on the mountain.
And sorry. And it's even better that you are not here. So do you think that the people on that list can actually represent Nigeria, you know, in diaspora, where you are, for example? So please go ahead.
We might be seeing the Westerners as the unwise people, unsmart people. But I want to let you know that these people are intelligent. They are the one that invent education, like the education we know. They are intelligent. So there is no how you expect a country like Canada, and when someone is coming to represent Nigeria, you expect them to just welcome the person without doing a background check on the person. Oh, this person that is coming to represent this country, who is this person? And then they will check the background, and then let's take, for instance, someone like Reno Omokri. I don't need to tell you who Reno Omokri is because his background is there. He has been embarrassing himself all over. He's a natural disgrace. Now, someone like Reno Omokri, you give that person an ambassador position, and what is he representing? Like, how do you expect the intelligent Westerners or the intelligent foreigners to see us? Because Reno Omokri, if he's coming, he's not coming as Reno Omokri. He's not coming as he's representing Nigeria, and he's like the diasporas or the Westerners is not seeing Reno Omokri, seeing Nigerians, and such a person who has embarrassed himself, who has disgraced himself, brought himself to nothing. He's a natural disgrace. You're giving the person an ambassador position. What are you telling the world? I don't understand. Are you trying to say that we don't have capable hands? We don't have people with dignity, people with reputable or respectable reputation? You put someone like Reno Omokri to represent Nigeria. That is shameful. That is disgraceful. He doesn't have a good track record. That says a lot about our president. I don't know. Does our president really know what he's doing? Or is he just doing because it clearly shows that he doesn't know what is happening. I'm not even sure he knows that Reno Omokri's name is on that list. Because everything Reno Omokri says about him and this and that, and yet, I don't know, you have to understand that it doesn't really, I don't think that Tinubu is the one ruling us, because with what is happening, it's high time that we Nigerians need to start asking questions. Like, Tinubu needs to come out, not to address us, but to answer questions. He really needs to answer questions. He needs to tell us, why on earth should someone like Muhammadu Yakubu, the former INEC, how on earth should he give someone like that an ambassador position with what he did? The worst election we had was under his administration. The worst election, the worst thing that happened in the history of Nigeria happened under Muhammad Yakubu's leadership. And then he's giving him an appointment. Who else again? Should we go? Okay, I can understand. Let's talk about Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi. You can say it's compensation, because of course Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi was the one that brought the governor of Enugu State from PDP to APC. So it's like compensating him for a job well done. So who else again? Is it Bazu, the former governor of Abia State, that had Abia State for 8 years? Nothing. I said nothing to show for it. Abia State, he was governor. He's not a commissioner. He's not a governor for 8 years, and there is nothing to say that, oh, this is what Okeze Bazu did in Abia State, and he's giving this. This sparks questions. So our president needs not to address us, but to answer questions. He needs to answer some questions.
Thank you so much, Achijeke, for that particular submission. And of course, I got something there. You were saying that the president needs to look into this, and of course, mentioning that there are so many things that he's not aware of. Are we going to say that this particular nominee list is maybe just equivalent to that of the pardon list, that of course he already gave pardon before he reviewed the list? Just like some people said that, oh, the president was not aware of what was going on initially, and he just pardoned it, but now he has seen it. That's why he's actually removing some names off it. So does it mean that he's not aware of this particular nominee list? It's just a question. But of course, I'd like you to hold your thoughts. We have a caller. I'd like you to hold your thoughts, please. Hello. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon. All right, so I think there's a glitch there. All right, Chijioke.
So, to answer the question, can you hear me?
Okay, so I think the call is in.
Hello.
Now. Hello.
Hello, this is Aina calling you from Lagos.
All right, Aina, please go ahead.
Let me start by, you were just throwing jabs at me that the president, that I said, if you're referring to me, that the pardon list, that my president is not aware.
You said
of the
I
list.
was throwing what? Come again.
It's like you are referring to me that I once said.
No. There's nothing like that. There's nothing like that. I didn't mention that. Everybody actually gave that speculations. Yeah. Please go ahead. Let's
go back to the topic of the day. It's quite disgraceful from my president to model that list. It's a poor reflection of my president, because with Reno Omokri, Fani Akayode, if my memory serves me right, Fani Akayode once, I think, said that he had a mental issue, if my memory serves me right. So where does these people come into the scheme of things of the Nigeria of today? I feel very bad that my country could be deregulated, brought so low by this psychopath.
So, that means that you are not also in support of this particular nominee list.
I am not in consonant of this list. So please,
for the very first time, you are not happy with what your president. You usually personalize it. You're not happy with what your president actually did. Is that what you're saying?
I'm an analyst, so that is what I do for a living. So if he's not doing it right, and I'll say he's not doing it right for this, no, it's a no. It's a no.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so let me go to Mr. Liberty, the Gombe man who's back to Abuja now. Mr. Liberty, are you there?
Yes, I'm with you, sir.
All right, so let's come here now. Let's talk about this situation. Of course, let's evaluate some things. What are the critical situation, as regards to this whole, ambassadorial nominee? What criteria do you think should be used to evaluate, the competence of ambassadorial nominee? And of course, we'll talk about conflict of interest, because you would agree with me that this particular news, the question is still, buzzing. We just want to know, is this about merit, or is about us, appreciating loyalists? We just have to get that particular conversation, out of the way. So, of course, conflict of interest and, of course, nepotism. Is there a conflict of interest in nominating Mahmoud Yakub, given his role, in the 2023 election that brought President Tinubu to power? And, of course, do you think the nomination of former governors and the government official constitutes a form of cronyism? Please, I'd like you to take all of that.
All right, the administration is missing. And that thing is, the administration is not in consonance with the fact that what sustains a democracy is not politics. Democracy is a sacred institution. And for it, the measures that need to be put in place is literally adopting sustainable measures, such as a sustainable rule of law, such as a sustainable justice system, such as a sustainable principle of meritocracy. And this administration is all missing this point, because what I think this administration is doing is not really deciphering or coming in terms with the basic understanding of what it means to be an ambassador. When I refer to you as an ambassador, what I mean by that is that you are an image of the person you represent. In church, literally Christians call themselves ambassadors of Jesus Christ, which literally connotes a sense of representation. That means that wherever you are, whatever you do, whatsoever you're going to be engaging with, you have a sole interest to protect the interest of the master. And I think this administration is getting it wrong. It's thinking that when we talk about issues of ambassadorial appointment, we mean sustaining a political empire. It's that will sustain a democratic empire. Mr. Chijioke has laid it so important. The way that have serious reputational crisis represent a country, it calls to questions issues of whether or not the country itself is even serious. You see, that's a critical aspect we need to put in place, we need to critically consider at this material point in time. You don't sustain a democracy using politics. Terms of politics are over. Immediately you took an oath of office as the president. But what the president is doing is literally what honestly I don't understand. There's one thing with politics. Politics is about sustaining a self-ambition. That's why a philosopher said politics is about who gets what and how. So when we begin to marry political principles into democratic principles, you're going to have a system that is and then I thank God for one from diaspora. And then critically, you can tell us how now talking about issue conflict of interest. It's definitely there. Though, our laws has not really provided an effective and efficient guideline for appointment of ambassadors. What we see literally is probably a provision of Section 171 of the Constitution that provides that they shall be the president, subject to the confirmation of the Senate. By this provision, there is no guideline as to this is the requisite qualification that each person is supposed to possess before being appointed as an ambassador. But I think by practice direction guideline, just as said by the national youth leader of Labour Party earlier, he said something. He said, even if we don't have guidelines, there are principles, there are operational terms that are guiding appointment as such. And these operational guidelines need to be put in place. That's why he mentioned issues of meritocracy in appointment of this.
Okay.
Trust me, there is none.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Wilson, for that wonderful submission. Let me go back to Comrade Rugby and Slim. Hello, Comrade, are you there? Please unmute your mic if you're there.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So, Comrade, let's talk about merits now. And of course, let's try and see how we can provide solution from this particular, side of the country. How can the presidency ensure that ambassadorial nominations are not used as a means of course, rewarding political loyalty?
Thank you. First and foremost, every political appointment just like this one, actually reward for political engagement, probably in terms of electioneering or after election. It all depends on probably what we are beginning to see is you become qualified for appointment if you have a very high nuisance value. So this is what we are beginning to see. It's no more, the appointment are now centered on the extent to which your nuisance was high. For instance, if you take Professor Mahmoud Yakub, he orchestrated the highest level of nuisance in Nigeria when he conducted the 2023 general election. He talked about glitches. We saw how results were not properly collated. We saw how those that were declared were not actual winners. But of course, that went further to be justified by even the courts. So there are a lot of issues concerning this matter. But what we had expected was, okay, elections have come and gone. Yes, you could reward some persons for their nuisance politically. But at certain levels, you go beyond those nuisance values to the exact values that people are bringing on the table. For instance, in diplomatic relations, character. Character is a key component. Integrity. Of course, you must have attained certain educational qualification by way of education, maybe first degree, minimally. But in terms of career progression, again, as a diplomat, or as an ambassador to be, it's expected that you would have grown in certain diplomatic aspects by way of your training or by way of your service. Maybe you have been in the civil service, you've grown through the cadre to attain maybe a directorate level, you've learned management and leadership, some of these traits at those levels. You have attended to some other aspects, security matters. So there are core aspects of issues that should pertain to why somebody should be appointed as an ambassador. For instance, so there are many of them. Let me not go into all of those. But what we are saying now is what we have just seen, do not reflect what it should be for a country like Nigeria that is struggling to come out of all the bad image, all the bad name, all the misrepresentation we have suffered. A country suffering from insecurity, a country suffering from poverty and want, a country whose citizens across the world are known for, to a very large extent, misbehaviors. I don't want to use very terrible words here. So, however, what we expect is to begin to rebuild the image of this nation. First and foremost, by looking for men and women of reputable character. People whose character we could vouch for because of their antecedents. But here is a case where we have people with very terrible track records. Even if you've mentioned their names, they have been appointed, but their representation is not going to do any image laundry for Nigeria. It's going to be a very big disservice. And these appointments are going to worsen the plight of this nation, because what it is showing us is that it is only when you have done terrible things that you'll be qualified for anything in government. Of course, we are in a country where people have worked very hard, diligently, but nobody knows them. Just like I used Reno Mokri, for instance, I've used Professor Mahmoud Yakub, for instance. Look at the problem in Labour Party, emphatically. Professor Mahmoud Yakub was there when all this happened. Let's keep the election aside. Julius Abure, the world knows what happened. To the extent where just only recently, on the October 14th, the then acting chairman claimed that Julius Abure submitted a valid court order from Gwagwalada. We ran to Gwagwalada only to find out there was nothing like that. Suddenly again, now this same Abure went to Nasarawa to go and get an interlocutory order to order INEC to recognize him as party chairman. And this same INEC, under Professor Joas Amupitan, is also beginning to perpetrate illegality on Labour Party by forcing Abure, even against a Supreme Court judgment. Then suddenly tomorrow, we are going to have an instance where, if for any reason President Tinubu wins 2027, he may not take Professor Joa Mushida, who is now beginning to act very terribly. I'm telling the world now, though he has not started, but he's acting very terribly. He has a Supreme Court judgment before him, and is attending to frivolous court orders to parade Abure and INEC officials who are co-conspirators in this matter.
Comrade Anslem, we are pressed for time. We're pressed for time, so our time might not be able to accommodate more again. And I have to just go to Chijioke. Hello, Chijioke, are you there?
I'm here. The point is made to say, because we are talking about the same government.
No, so comrade, these are your final thoughts, okay? Because of our time, we won't be able to take more again. Okay, we're pressed for time. I will just have to round off on the show. Thank you so much, comrade, for that wonderful submission. Hello, Chijioke, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, so Chijioke, in just 30 seconds, okay? So I'd like to take your final submission, please.
Do I think that this list is just the same like the pardon list that the president did before the court came in? I have two things to say about it.
Please, you have to be fast about it.
It's likely going to be like, yes, it's the same thing. Or it's likely going to be that he's aware of it, he just wants to compensate, or he's just planning for the next election, you know? Or then if it should be that it's the same mistake that he did with the pardon list, then this should spark a very big question. Mr. Tinubu, President, sir, do you really know what you are doing as a president? Because you don't know. Are you really ready for this job? Or please retire and let's know what to do.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And Mr. Liberty, thank you. Mr. Liberty, are you there? Sorry, you had so much network glitch there. I would like to take your final thoughts in just 10 seconds, if you can.
All right. So over time, we have had in this country a very powerful foreign policy system, and we have had a prime minister.
Well, the network again. So sorry.
I think it's not really be wrong if.
Okay. This is how far we can actually go on the show. Because we're pressed for time, and sincerely, we're sorry about that particular, network glitch there with Mr. Liberty. Of course, I just have to let you know that the views and opinions expressed by our analysts are solely their own and do not reflect those of VOP Media. Of course, we're all entitled to our opinion. If you love the world of sports, I'd like you to stay put to actually enjoy another new week of sports. But I would leave you with don't give up, because it is not over. Tough time doesn't last, but tough will do last. Whatsoever you're facing will soon be over, and you will definitely smile again. My name remains Savior Udo. Have a good evening rest.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
Behind every broken desk lies a broken promise. Education shapes the nations. But who is asking the right questions? Introducing Edu Dialogue, the show that goes beyond the surface, exposes the cracks, the corruption, and the silence in Nigeria's education system. Edu Dialogue, Saturdays, 3 p.m., only on VOP TV. We break the biggest stories, from missing funds to policy failures. We ask the tough questions and demand real answers. Edu Dialogue, this Saturday, 3 p.m. on Voice of the People Television.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing
VOP TV, now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story.